Sometimes you're a fire, sometimes you're a ghost. Sometimes you can give me all the things that I love the most. Sometimes you're a queen, sometimes you're a curse, and sometimes a whole lot worse. Yeah, nobody's quite like you.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Blue Hell Worldwide here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well today. In episode 11, maybe, just maybe, we're going to get our youth intake now that we are in March. But what's definitely coming for you guys are games in the MLS League of this World Super League in the third tier against Mexican outfit Atletico San Luis and against the Colombian outfit Junior FC, two of our toughest tests for the remainder of the season. So if you're looking forward to that, as well as potentially that youth intake, we'll see if it comes up during today's episode. Then remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and enjoy what you see here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button as well. It is greatly appreciated. But today we're picking off more or less where we left off at the end of yesterday's episode, which if you did miss, I will leave a link to above my head in the top right corner. We have put ourselves in a good position to get promoted in the MLS League, and we'll just catch you guys up on some highlights of the games that we've played off camera first. Of course, in yesterday's episode, Tim Melia had a blinder in one of those games, and he's been pretty good for us for most of the season, but unfortunately, he had a bit of a letdown in the first of two back-to-back games against Wallace Tijuana in the 54th minute. He gets the ball quite nicely here inside his box. Our defenders come back. He does a poor rollout. It's an absolute shambles of a goal to concede there, and that was the deciding factor in a 1-0 loss at home to the Mexican outfit. You look at the stats, that was the only shot on target. We were pretty dominant, should have had more shots on target, not very efficient in front of goal, but to lose the game that way was pretty frustrating to say the least, but we can sort of let Melia off for that as he has been superb for us so far this season, as have most of our defence as well, truth be told. So a bit of a lapse from them there, letting Zolos Tijuana get 3 points at our home stadium, which was a bit of a shame, but as I said, I think we can forgive them for that mistake considering how many points they have saved us in previous games. But in the very next match, we had the away game against these guys and we got our revenge, the only goal coming at the 70-minute mark. Russell putting a ball in, it is headed back clear, but Espinoza finds Russell, good finish from a tight angle into the left-hand side of goal, and that gave us a 1-0 win. This one felt like a true reflection of the game. Very similar to how the previous game played out. We're actually more dominant in this one, but actually got some reward for it that time, which was nice to see. We did put out a slightly stronger lineup for this game, so I think that was reflected in the scoreline, getting a little bit of revenge on Zolos Tijuana. And then we played the first of two games against the Houston Dynamo in the month of March, coming in to the first game of today's episode against Atletico San Luis. We got off to a good start in this game. On the 11th minute, Espinoza, ball over the top, picks out Polito. The first shot hits the post, but the rebound falls kindly to him, and he beats the keeper who had already committed to the first save to make it 1-0. But Houston did equalise a couple of minutes later at the 21-minute mark. Rodriguez back to Sealing, just gets that for a scrum of bodies, and Melia cannot keep that out. Good finish into the bottom right corner. It was 1-1, but quarter of an hour later, we got our lead back. Johnny F. and Russell making his way forward in a wonderful strike with his left foot into the top left corner to make it 2-1, and only a few minutes later we more or less wrap the game up before halftime. Daniel Scully picking out Russell, just gets beyond his man. Another good finish from a tight angle from him. So Johnny F. and Russell comes into today's episode in a very nice bit of form, and his two goals crucial in us getting the 3 points there against the Houston Dynamo. A game that, again, we dominated stat-wise that time, a lot more clinical in front of goal than we were in those prior games against Zolos Tijuana. So what that means for the Major League Soccer division coming into today's episode, we're only 2 months out from the end of it now. It does finish in May, and we are joint top of the table now with FC Dallas. We've got 3 games in hand on them, so if we can win both of our games today, that should keep us in a very nice position to at least get promotion and maybe even win the league. And behind that, Atlanta United, we've got 2 games in hand on them, 3 points behind us, and then it's a much bigger gap back to Junior FC. 8 points now. Feels like it's a freeway race for these top 2 spots to get promotion, and we look the best suited of those teams given the games in hand that we have. But now it's time for our first game of today's episode, taking on 6th place Atletico San Luis at the Estadio Alfonso Lastras. Hopefully we can keep this good run of form going and try to keep holding on to top spot in the MLS League. And here are the team sheets for the first game of today's episode. We are more or less with our first choice starting 11. The only change that we have had to make, Fontas has just picked up a little bit of a niggle as the centre back. So Graham Smith comes into the starting 11 for him. And the other notable change on the bench is that Alexander Tete is suspended for this game. So Ngongolo keeps a place on the bench after, I'm pretty sure it was yesterday's episode, he was on the bench there as well. So still has a chance to make his SKC first team debut in this game, but pretty strong team that we're putting out for this one against good opposition. Hopefully we can keep the good times going here at SKC. 16 minutes gone, the first highlight at Atletico San Luis free kick. We do head it away somewhat out to Bartolini, who's just inside the box, back to Guemes. It's a bit of a loose ball, but unfortunately we can't pick it up. We, of course, in the dark blue for this game. It's a sloppy pass there by Atletico San Luis, and we get on the attack here through Shallowy, making his way in field, a little bit sloppy there, but we do keep possession for now. And now Louis Martins, the left back, who's having a very good season, which is nice to say, although that's a poor pass from him there. And now the Mexicans look to get us on the counter attack. Nice ball there for Ibanez, and he puts that in the bottom right corner and was onside. I thought he might just have timed his run. Not quite right there, but he's been played through very nicely there from Bartolini. It's a poor pass from Martins, just as I was saying how well he had been doing. And indeed, he's probably just being played onside there by the right centre-back. Good finish into the bottom right corner. And from a little bit of sloppy play from us, we go 1-0 down just after a quarter of an hour. 33 minutes gone, second highlight of the game. And it's another free kick to Atletico San Luis to start things off. So they are having the better of things that we're seeing in this game so far. Good blocking slide tackle there from Louis Martins to cut out Chavez's cross. But they do keep possession in a good area of the field. Federico Gino putting a ball over the top. Punchik gets that out to Johnny F. and Russell, and we might look to get something going here on the counter as we look to get some bodies going forward and make the most of things, unlike last time where Martin's poor pass led to the goal for Atletico San Luis. But Johnny F. and Russell in great form. It's a tackle. Now this has been given as a penalty, but VAR is going to check it. So Johnny F. and Russell might have kept up a good little run of form here by winning us a penalty, hopefully, as VAR is going to check it, but it is not a penalty. That's a bit harsh on us, it has to be said, but unfortunate, and it does remain 1-0 to Atletico San Luis. 38 minutes gone now, shortly off the back of that VAR overturned penalty. It's another highlight starting with a set piece to Atletico San Luis. Ibanez, nice ball there for Berthe. He hits the post. That was a really good chance there, finding a lot of space inside the box. It still remains 1-0, and now they've got a free kick shortly off the back of that. So definitely looking the better team so far. The header goes wide. They are all over us for the most part here in this first half, despite the stats actually being in our favour, and we do get to half time, and that's a pretty poor half from us, despite what the stats would suggest based on the highlights we saw. Atletico San Luis definitely the better team, so we're going to have to give the boys a bit of a rack up at half time, and we'll also make one substitution. Daniel Shallowy on a 6.3 rating. So Gutty kinda will come on for him. Hopefully that will do something, as we're looking a little bit sloppy at the moment, it has to be said, based on the highlights that we've seen. Anyway, we'll go into the second half looking to overturn a 1-0 deficit. 62 minutes gone. Another highlight starting with a set piece to Atletico San Luis. We are able to clear it. We've made one substitution since half time as well. Cicero coming on for an average Walker. That's a nice ball played over for Gutty Kinder, and we're back at level terms. Cicero coming straight off the bench and getting an assist with a long ball forward, very similar to the goal that they scored, but Gutty kind of just bumps that right down the middle into the roof of the net, and we do make it 1-0. Well-timed run. He is well onside and a good first-time finish, just pumping that down the middle into the top half of the goal, and it's back at 1-0 with just under a half hour to play. Coming into the last 5 minutes, Kerry Shelton came on for Johnny F. and Russell about 10 minutes ago, but this ball has fallen very kindly for Pulido Busio, and that could be the winning goal at the 87-minute mark. It was a ball played in, it was blocked by one of the Atletico San Luis defenders, and it just fell very kindly for Pulido. We'll see it again here. It was Kerry Shelton who did come on for Russell. The ball deflected off a San Luis defender straight to Pulido, off to Busio in a lot of space. Good finish into the bottom left corner, and what we'll do here is we'll pull some bodies back, as we have improved quite a bit in the second half, and we are now 2-1 up. We'll just try and hold on to this result. A draw wouldn't have been a bad result considering the games in hand that we did have. But now that we have got the lead, we will try and hold on to it, just make things a little bit tougher for them. We'll slow the tempo down, start to time waste as we enter referees added time. There is 4 minutes of it, starting to get some tired bodies in defence and up front with Pulido. But it looks like we have got 2 second half goals, and indeed we have, to win this game against Atletico San Luis. A good comeback from the boys there. Had to make some changes throughout the second half, and most of the ones that we did make did prove quite useful. Cicelo getting an assist, kinda a goal, and Kerry Shelton somewhat had an impact in that second goal as well. So we've come from behind. In the end, the stats really did favour us. So a deserved win in the end, but we didn't really see much in the first half that suggested we were playing as well as the stats would have made it look like. A lot better in that second half, and we come from behind to get a 2-1 win against Atletico San Luis. We'll come back shortly, show you guys highlights of a game against the Houston Dynamo, and then we'll crack into the second game of today's episode against Junior FC. And we are back with highlights from our second game in short succession against the Houston Dynamo. This one was our home game. Unfortunately, the game footage that's coming from the game itself is quite choppy. I've tried to restart the game a few times and it's still doing it, so apologies for that, but I'm not too sure what else I can do. But we'll show you guys the highlights. We did get off to a good start in this game. In the 10th minute, Cicelo on the ball. You can see what I mean about the footage. I think that was kind of playing a ball up to Harris. Indeed it was, and he puts that away in the bottom right corner to make it 1-0. And off the back of that, around about the 53-minute mark from a free kick which Espinoza put in, Harris gets his head to it and Gutty kind of runs onto it, puts that in the back of the net. And at that stage I made a few substitutions to keep boys fresh, because I felt like we had the game pretty well under control. But unfortunately they got a goal back shortly off the back of that through Rodriguez, and then we threw the game away with 20 minutes to go. Now the game sorted itself out, which is nice because you can see this utter moment of madness from Graham Smith. I don't know how else to explain that, to be honest. Stuttering over my words because it was that bad, but he pretty much gifted them a goal with 18 minutes to go, and that is how they pinched a draw of us there, did the Houston Dynamo. So that's now a few times that our defence has given away points leading into both of the games in today's episode. Of course, Tim Mealy against Zolos Tijuana, giving up what would have been a draw for a loss, and now Graham Smith costing us 2 points there, a win which ended up being a draw. So we've dropped about 5 points lately through just silly mistakes at the back. But as I said, still hard to be too upset about things to a certain extent with how well our defence has been doing this season, but just starting to drop some points in rather frustrating ways, which is not ideal at this point of the season. But hopefully we'll get that out of the way and get a good result in this next game against Junior FC. We did give Ngongolo his debut there. Maybe that wasn't a good idea. He did play all right at the CDM role, but yeah, that was one of the changes we made once we got 2-0 up, and then things just started to fall apart a little bit. So it might have been my fault there as well with some substitutions that I did make. But what that means off the back of that result and the first game in today's episode, we are still joint top of the MLS League on 77 points, still 3 points clear of Atlanta United, equal with FC Dallas, but with 3 games in hand on them. So still in a good position if we can win this game today against Junior FC. If it wasn't already, it will definitely then be a free horse race for that promotion battle. But we are in a very good position. Still no youth intake, unfortunately. So we'll see what happens off the back of this game. And if it happens before the start of the next game, we'll bring that youth intake to you guys today. If it doesn't, it will be right at the start of tomorrow's episode. But without any further ado, we'll come back for the first versus fourth clash away from home in Colombia as we take on Junior FC. And here are the team sheets for this game against Junior FC. They are on the left. We've had to make a few changes with Pulido and Punchek both having gone on a week-long holiday since the first game in today's episode, just getting a little bit tired. So what that means is that Wilson Harris gets to start up front for us, and it is Isamat Miran starting alongside Fontas. Graham Smith getting relegated to the bench, as you would expect after the mistake he made in that Houston Dynamo game. Apart from that, though, we are full strength in the starting 11, and we've still got a pretty strong bench there. The only change that we've had to make there is Dominic Lesata, a striker that we do have on loan here from Dinamo Zagreb, I believe he is from, is now in the first 11 and on the bench. So that's the one person who's a little bit new that you guys might see in today's game should things not be going to plan. But we'll see if we can get back into the winning groove here against Junior FC and try and put a big gap on the fourth place team. 5 minutes gone in Junior FC with the first highlight of the game, albeit a goal kick to them. They are in the red and white stripes with the black shorts wearing our light blue hoops, as you see me showing you. But it is Junior FC pumping that ball deep. Fontas cutting it out, and we look to get going again after pumping a few balls deep, but not really getting anything going that's overly threatening at the moment. Busio, nice ball over the top there for Johnny F. and Russell. Great chance, but he hits the post, and he wasn't offside either. That's a great chance there for the Super Scot, but it still remains 0-0. 19 minutes gone now. This time it's a goal kick to us to start the highlight off. Fontas pumping that deep towards Harris, and they do get the ball back here to Junior Angel. Nice ball there for Sandoval. He hits that one straight at Melia. Those are good chances for both teams now, and it does remain 0-0. Melia will pump this one long, and Shalloy wins the header. So we might be able to get something going straight off the back of that chance for Junior. Shalloy makes his way down the left. It's a slide tackle there from Julio, and he's able to keep possession, but Shalloy tidies things up. Good ball there for Johnny F. and Russell again. Another great chance for him. Good save from the keeper this time, and still at the 20-minute mark, it remains 0-0. 26 minutes gone, a goal kick to Junior. So this game starting off with lots of highlights from goal kicks, but they do get possession back from this one. Nice ball over for Sandoval, goes around the keeper, and he hits the post as well. Some really good chances for both teams now, and still it remains 0-0. And that is half-time in this game. Some really good chances for both teams, as I said at the end of the last highlight. Pretty even game, and it does remain 0-0. So I suppose it being a draw's fair, but would have expected at least one of those chances for both teams to be in the back of the net. So we'll just give the boys a bit of a rack up at halftime, try and get them a little bit better. Our attackers at finishing their chances will make one change as well. Louis Martin on a 6.4 rating. So I think Maxi is going to come on for him. We'll do that change and hopefully get a goal in the second half, as it is 0-0 at halftime. 58 minutes gone, and we have a corner in the first highlight of the second half. Walter puts it in. He finds Angelo Fontas, and we go 1-0 up. A set piece gives us the first goal in this game, and that is a big goal in this away game, one of the toughest games that we've got left, if not the toughest, considering we've already played Atlanta and Dallas twice. Good header into the top right corner, and we go 1-0 up in Colombia, albeit we are going to get shown a highlight shortly off the back of that, straight from kickoff. Hopefully we don't concede a swift reply, as that would be so frustrating after having to work so long to get that opening goal, but it has been a pretty even game so far, and definitely in the first half. Ball over the top there. It is headed or chested down there back to Melia. And with an hour gone, it does remain 1-0. He clears that. It's a poor clearance. And they are back in position here. Junior Mira and Hal Rosillo. Ball over the top. Isamat will head that away, but straight back to a junior player. So a good sustained spell for them off the back of that restart, now that the score is 1-0. And Hal, ball over the top there for Gonzalez, and they make it 1-1, and that is so frustrating. As soon as we get a goal, they have struck back, but based on what we've seen in this game, that's a pretty fair reflection of things, but just a bit frustrating at how it's happened. Angel to Ballon, back to Angel, nice ball over the top there. I believe that would be Zusi who's let him slide there. Indeed he has. Good finish into the bottom right, and it's back at all square with an hour gone. We'll make a change off the back of that with Daniel Shallow on a 6.4. Gutty kinda can come on for him, but in very short order it still remains a draw, but now it is 1-1 at the hour mark. Okay, 63 minutes gone here, and we are going to bring Dominic Lesetar on. Wilson Harris on a yellow heart, a 6.4 rating, so I think this is the first taste of first team football this guy has had, maybe this season, at least on camera. Anyway, the guy who is on loan from Dinamo Zagreb, the Croatian 20-year-old, looks decent enough. We'll see what he can do, as Wilson Harris isn't offering us much. Still 1-1 with 27 minutes to go. 78 minutes gone. It's a throw into Junior in a good area of the pitch for them, but that cross is blocked, and Gutty kind of makes his way downfield. What can he do? Finds Johnny F. and Russell in good space. His shot, he falls, the tackle falls, that ball falls for Rossiter, and straight off the bench he gets his first goal in the first 11 for the club. Jamal Mera picks up a yellow card, so that might have been a penalty about to be awarded to us anyway, but we go 2-1 up, and it's thanks to super sub Rossiter. You can see Johnny Russell, a foot in there from Mera. I think he might have already been on a yellow card, it looked like there, so not too sure what that was about, but Rossiter with the slick finish as soon as the ball falls to him into the bottom right corner. Rossiter was offside there, but Johnny F. and Russell wasn't, and it's 2-1 with 10 minutes to go. The super sub coming good for us. 19 minutes gone. We have a free kick late in this game. Isamat with the header going for the top left corner forces a good save out of Shaw, and it does still remain 2-1, but we've only got 4 minutes of added time left in this game now as we look to make it 3-1, perhaps to try and really seal things here. Gutty kind of just on the edge of the box will find Russell. Just as back to goal there, Busio back to Russell. He gets a shot off and it is just wide, not overly threatening. And still it remains 2-1, but we are now entering referees added time. And it looks like that will do it. 2 good wins for us today in tight games, both 2-1 score lines. And this time we come back after conceding an equaliser shortly after getting the leading goal through Fontas. They got one back in the 61st minute, but super sub Dominic Resata rescues us 3 points with 10 minutes to go and a good solid win. It was a very even game. They actually slightly edged the stats based on what I can see there, but we were just clinical enough in front of goal with our chances, and we're going to pick up 3 points and stay top of the table. We'll come back shortly, run you guys through what that looks like, and also maybe the youth intake. We'll see if that comes up as well. So we are back in the inbox after that game that we just played, and unfortunately we've gone forward to the next game that we were going to play, Orlando City. This is going to be an off-camera game, and our youth intake still hasn't come through on the 17th of March. So what we'll do is we'll bring that to you guys right at the start of tomorrow's episode, and then we'll do a game or two off the back of that, depending on how long it takes us to run through, depending probably on whether it's really good or really bad. There was the hint it could be a golden generation, so hopefully that's true, and it takes us a while to get through that. That would be very nice indeed. But we will show you guys the table at the end of today's episode. Joint top still with FC Dallas, still 3 points clear of Atlanta United. Put a little bit of a gap now between them and Junior FC, which is nice. Still looking like a free horse race for the promotion spots. We've still got those 3 games in hand on Dallas, so in a very good position with 10 games to go in our season to try and win this MLS League and at the very least get promoted to Super League 1. But that will do for today's episode. As I said, tomorrow we'll definitely show you guys the youth intake at the start of the episode. And in terms of what's coming up in April, we'll probably do the Seattle Sounders game. And if there's time for a second game, if we don't take too long on the youth intake, we'll do the LA Galaxy game as well, unless something changes and there's a game before then, which gives us a chance to win promotion. But I don't think that would be happening until the end of April at the earliest anyway. But if you did enjoy today's episode, 2 good wins on camera, then remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. And until the next time I see you for the youth intake and some games in late April or game, we'll see what happens with that youth intake. Thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.
Sometimes it can